Yes, of
Uh,
course.
Happy Bastille Day to you all, by the way.
Oh my! I
Congratulations.
can't believe I'm not in my proper colors here, Richard. I don't know.
Yeah, it's we're storming the Bastille of box office narratives here on
Yeah,
the
I'm in
Echo.
my
So
commoner clothing. I'm with the people, Richard. That's what I'm
yeah,
doing today, not the aristocracy.
I can sing Le Marseillaise in French, So
Oh well, that's good to know. We'll keep that in our
that's
pocket, Richard, in case we need
yeah.
to fill out the last 5 minutes of this thing. But
If this if we start to lag around Megan 2.0, then
yeah,
I could go into that. Um,
yeah. I think we have a quorum, Richard, as we would say here.
yeah. So where do we start? Where do we begin?
Well, your big day. You put your flag down on DC pretty early, Richard. I will say, and Superman, and we have the number here: 122 million in the U.S. and 217 global. The floor is yours, sir. I feel like
I
this
mean,
is your day, not mine. So I'm going to give it over
thank,
to you.
thank you very much. It is my the glory goes to me.
The glory goes to Richard. Yes,
Small assist from James Gunn and
yes, Peter Safran. Yes, yes,
yeah. Thanks for I want to thank them for their help here.
yeah.
The no what occurs to me starting this is we've had now 2 years of Warner Brothers is doomed. They're screwing up everything. David Zaslav, can you believe he hired these idiots? He's putting all his faith in James Gunn. He's putting all his faith in Mike and Pam. He's giving people too
Yeah.
much. It's what a catastrophe. Uh, there's never been a film division so mismanaged. It's and I plan later in the day to dig up a lot of those articles, but they were
Please.
they were pretty much written by every single person in Hollywood. And I think what it comes down to is that Hollywood journalism sort of followed political journalism in that it's basically who do we like, and
Mm,
at any given moment there's one mogul who they Hollywood journalists are not in the habit of criticizing powerful people. It's not something they feel comfortable doing or like doing or anything. But there's always like one who it's safe to beat
right.
up on
The
because
punching bag. Yeah.
yeah, usually because they're on their way out and they
Right.
can't they can't do anything. But it's you know so every all the coverage of that studio is through the lens of, oh, we hate this guy. This guy sucks.
Right.
Uh,
Collateral
which
damage too. Yeah.
he may, he might suck, and he might be someone that you don't want to have dinner with. I totally accept those possibilities, but when we're looking at like how a film will do, we're supposed to be doing more, saying more than do we like the guy who runs a studio. Because sometimes some people that you hate will end up proving very competent managers, or they will hire competent managers,
Right.
or they'll by smart or by luck make some good choices in the movies they pick.
Right.
And if you can't say that, if all you can do
Yeah.
is confirm your priors about I hate this guy, and it's been 2 years of, and even in the James, even in the we've dealt with the Mike and Pam narrative, but even
Right.
in the DC narrative, I mean, the whole time along this with the like when the first trailer came out, I heard so many just sort of sighs of disgust from and distaste from everyone in the Hollywood journalism community. I heard so many, just like what James Gunn, what he's just going to do Guardians of the Galaxy, what
Right.
just a idiotic takes and at every turn of this and convince are done. And I'm not sure what the appropriate punishment would be. Ideally, those people would all quit this business and go like go work for some fan blog or something where they could just talk about, what colors uh, Batman's tights should be or something.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're stuck with them. So the least they could do is publicly apologize to us
Yeah.
all.
I mean, what
Right.
happened here? Zaz came in and look. He's shot himself in the foot a few times in a PR sense. His payment, his compensation package is another topic. Leaving all this aside, but he bet on people. Like Zaz had no movie experience, and he would be probably the first person to tell you that. What did he do? All right, he made a bet on Mike and Pam, and he made a bet on Gunn and Safran. And we're waiting for the animation one, which Cat in the Hat will be coming out in, early next year, which is kind of the third bet he made. And how are we going to revive these institutions? DC was derided, with Zack Snyder thing was a failure. Like, remember where we were coming from here, Richard, which
Yeah.
everybody else, all these same people were like, oh, Zack Snyder's, again, same kind of narrative even before Zaz, right?
DC, the most sensible thing to do about all this would be to say we're shutting down DC for 5 years, like
Which is essentially kind of what happened to it. And not maybe not
but
that long, but
just say
yeah,
like let's just walk away from this. This has been a catastrophe
just did
in
not
so
work
many
out.
ways. Like
Right.
we're just hemorrhaging money everywhere we look with this. So let's just take a time out and we'll revisit this in 2030 or something.
Not that long. Yeah. Right.
Because it just was not. You
It
were
wasn't,
having
nothing was working. Nothing was really working. Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
having a sector-wide collapse with superheroes, and in
Right.
particular, DC was what had gone through many
Yeah.
different failures. So, what did I see that was different than everyone else that allowed me
Yes, Richard,
this
please.
path to the truth? I saw that for whatever reason, the hardened journalists didn't like the work of James Gunn. Uh,
Yeah.
I I saw that he had brought in the most talented filmmaker of this sector, as far as I'm concerned, since I guess Christopher Nolan,
Hmm.
um, who had a deep appreciation for and involvement in the number. And as soon as he started talking about it, was very clear had a specific story he
Hmm.
wanted to tell, which was
Yep.
more like, oh, it wasn't just like, oh, let's get Superman out here again. We haven't had him for a while. So
Right.
he had a very specific story he wanted to tell that was relevant to this moment. And that is why I always thought that this was going to do better than the idiots would say.
Yeah, yeah. And remember, and also, the Batman, like, again, Matt Reeves, same thing, also did very well. But it's also, they're spacing them out. Like, people complaining, where's the Batman 2 script just being handed in? Like, give him time. Remember last time, I wanted so much so fast, and then the quality went down, and you all complained about that. It's like, hey, as you said, take some time, move this, put it in good hands. Matt Reeves is a smart guy. James Gunn, smart guy. They respect it. And lo and behold, you're getting
And
results.
and James Gunn said this when he started talking about it. He said, "We're not going to date any film until
Right.
we have a script that we feel good about. That we have a script. So if we have
Yeah.
nothing on the calendar, we have
Or
nothing on the
this isn't
calendar.
working out, or what I need more time. Yeah,
But
exactly.
we're gonna
And
wait until we have a story that we feel is ready to move forward, and we're not going to just be hurrying to make to make a
the release
Aquaman
date.
film at this date."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and hopefully they maintain that. Supergirl's coming next summer. But it's not a hose, Richard. It's like the next one's this, and we have Clayface, but we're not doing five of these. We're not, it's like it's just let's keep going, and hopefully it maintains. This is a good first step. This is a great unveiling, and as I said, there's few years in the works here. The Batman is a separate thing there, so. All signs are good. International's a little low, but we'll see how that goes. But I mean, this kind of hit the target on what we were expecting it to do. A minus cinema score, word of mouth. Seemed all the exit scores are pretty good. I know you saw. I haven't seen it yet. You enjoyed it.
yeah,
Everybody I've spoken to seems to recommend it to me. I mean, I've not heard a real false word there about it,
it
quality
had a
wise.
story it wanted to tell, and it felt just different from other all the other superhero movies. And it kind of, I mean, the criticism of it just throws so much at you that you kind of often don't know where you are, and there's so many themes and so many things going that you can't keep track of them. On the other side of that, like so many of these superhero films have felt like, I mean, you can walk into them 90 minutes in and know
Right.
exactly what's going on and know
Nothing much is, yeah, right.
have any idea. So it just felt like, this is one, it's challenging you. It's doing something there. So now the next part of the summer, because we've seen some decent openings this summer. This isn't the first decent opening.
Right.
What we haven't seen a lot of is films continuing to just sort of barnstorm and keep going at that level and not
Yeah,
just and not just have a real
boom, and
drop off.
then
So this test one so far so good,
yeah,
and then we'll
right.
see.
The narrative still has a long way to go here. Is that's why I say, I mean, the word of mouth. See, that's what we're talking about now. It's word of mouth time. So it's like, is it going to have that? Oh, you should, that again, the movie you should go see, and then whether I see it this week or the first week of August or whatever, that kind of thing of like that other audience who maybe doesn't go to the movies,
Yeah.
opening weekend. Like, will they come in for that? So.
And as David Poland pointed out, Thunderbolts had A- on Cinema Score
Oh
too.
yeah, no,
So
exactly.
it's
I
like
put it in this. Yeah, I mean, it's something. It's just an indication. Like, okay, it wasn't a. Like, look, we'll move on to our next one, Jurassic World, which had a B, and that one, fell 57%. I don't know anybody. I mean, all anecdotal, Richard, but everybody I know who saw that was like, the script was better than the last one, but they weren't like raving about it. And this was a film. Back to your point about giving it time, Richard. This is a film that had a release date. This movie was coming out July 4th weekend of 2025, and we'll see. It came out, but it was not, wait till it's done, wait till it's ready, kind of thing, as you mentioned. Seems fine. It's gonna make money. It's fine. Is this a rebirth of, there's two more movies in the next trilogy here, as we've talked about, this self-imposed trilogy thing they're putting on it's like, fine, I guess. I don't know if anybody's dying to see what the next one, what happens in the next one, or it's fine, which is never a great place to be as a franchise, but I don't know.
I mean, they can call it a trilogy. It's like
Yeah, I know, exactly.
it's
Yeah,
it's the eighth Jurassic movie where they've got to
right.
find
That's
another.
essentially what it is in my mind. Yeah, this
The
is
next one they do, they have to find another way to excite people about seeing dinosaurs.
about
So
dinosaurs. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the uh, you
So
know
self-imposed.
I don't think anybody's going to be like I'm involved in this trilogy or anything.
Yeah, this isn't
Um,
Star Wars or yeah, exactly. So
but I mean, I attribute this all to that the output is underserved. The pipeline is too thin, and thus there's like no people that are just in the habit of going to movies because there's just not enough there for them. So you have to serve them and give them something special every single step of the way. Like there's no the
yeah,
built-in audience is a little bit for some on opening weekend and then nothing beyond that.
yeah, and I'll just we'll cut ahead to the end. We'll come back a little bit, but to your point, Richard, once you hit even the fifth movie, which is Elio on down, you're talking $3 million for these movies. The 10th biggest movie made $721,000. That was Materialist. So again, the drop off here, and this is mid July. This isn't like a March weekend or something. Like to your point about that, having legs this summer. A lot of these films, nothing's really kind of caught on. Except I'll go to our third film, which is F1, which does seem to have a bit of this. It lost the IMAX, bump, if you will, this weekend from the revenue point of view. So it's 13 million. But that's 100 and say 140 million US. It does seem to have that, at least anecdotally, maybe not. It seems like, all right, that one seems to be playing. I'm curious to see how that kind of stays on as a 50% drop this week. That's the only one that feels like maybe outside of Lilo and Stitch, which was just a blockbuster, admittedly, and that played for a while. But Mission fell off. Megan was nothing. I don't. It's Jurassic probably doesn't seem to have those kind of legs. Richard, Superman, we will see. Thunderbolts did not have that kind of legs. So again, F1 seems to like have a little bit of that cachet. It's maybe for an older demo, people maybe not going that first weekend. So that's my hope on F1. I don't know if it'll come true or not, but
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
see.
thus far the only films of this year that have kept going to my eyes are Lilo and Stitch,
Yeah.
uh, the Final Destination,
Yeah, final.
and
Yeah, that did play for a bit. Yeah, for horror. Yeah,
Sinners,
yeah, and Minecraft you would play as well. I
and
would say.
Minecraft too. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
yeah. So four films. Yeah, and again, the first quarter of this year was just abominable. So again,
so we're in July, so that's four films that
four
have kept.
films for you. And yeah, yeah.
We'll see next weekend if Superman makes it
As
five,
Superman
but
joins the cut. And How to Train Your Dragon's still doing pretty well. That's that one. will probably be the high tie the highest grossing of the franchise. But I look back, Richard, like those films have solidly done between 500 all of them 500 to 600 million every one, and that's this one's falling in that range too. So that's a in terms of a performance of a franchise, I'm like that one's pretty spot on. That's pretty rare.
Yeah, and have a franchise that every few years you can have a movie that does half a
Yeah,
billion.
guaranteed. That's
That's fine. And by the way, if F1 ends up at half a billion worldwide, an original film,
yep.
that just got a lot of guys racing around. I mean, that's I I don't know what they spent on it, but and neither does anyone. But if you told me that you're going to make a movie about race car drivers, an original
Right.
film, and it
Yeah,
makes half a billion, I would say that's great. You should do it.
that's pretty good.
Definitely do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But that one again, only 35% of that is from the US. So like that's even again that global, and it's F1's a global brand. Obviously, Brad Pitt's a huge movie star, worldwide. So just interesting kind of and also just I went back on the Mission Impossible math. That was like 32% was on the US. Like that was again like it's weird, Richard. You have these kind of, Brad Pitts, the Tom Cruises of the world, if it's here, like people kind of maybe not snooze at it, but just like take it for granted. But internationally, like these guys still, that matters to a lot of audiences
Yeah.
still, no matter what.
I wonder
Um,
if it would have affected the U.S. gross if like foreign releases traditionally have changed the title a lot, and they
oh yeah,
I remember,
right, yeah,
so if the
yeah.
U.S. gross was like Wheels of Fury or something like that, or like if it wasn't called F1,
F1, well, F1 is such a global brand that would be, I think, a mistake. But that's funny that, yeah, exactly.
but would it if American audiences just knew this as Wheels of Brad Pitt and Wheels of
Wheels
Fury,
of
like would that have brought more
it's an
people in or less?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, yeah, like you had Ford versus Ferrari, which put the negative things in the name too. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's a tree falls before the forest question there, Richard, but certainly one that to think about. Otherwise, yeah, our buddy Elio is just kind of petering out there.
Mm,
Uh,
poor Elio.
or
Uh,
Elio, get your
the,
merch way you can.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what more to say there.
yeah, no, that's about it. And that's it. Everything else is just kind of really again the fall off here. It's great to have Superman doing 122. Jurassic, has already cleared $500 million. But to your point, Richard, the this is not a robust lineup once you get down to the other
Yeah, and
part here. So
you just don't have smaller movies breaking through here.
yeah, there haven't really been. Yeah, Materialist was the only real major offering, even in that category. And, it's funny,
The,
not that I'm shocked at this, Richard, but specialty is just like it was Phoenician Scheme, the Wes Anderson movie, like that was it. Like there's been nothing like again that market hasn't been served very well. And maybe in August it'll pick up a bit, but that just is like flatlined in terms of that market there. So it is what it is. But looking ahead, Richard, no one's everybody's talking about how we doing so far at the box office. It's been about 15% above year to date so far of last year. But we're coming into some pretty big comps. People last year got its act together late, which I kind of went back on the numbers. I broke it all down the wake up last night. But you have Deadpool comp coming up against like Fantastic Four is tracking pretty well, but didn't Deadpool 3
the,
did $635 million in the US. Like, all
mm.
right, that's
And
coming up.
what was the release date on that?
That's the same as Fantastic Four. So that's
Oh,
the last weekend of July.
oh
So
wow.
that's 2 weeks away. Yeah. Twisters is also for this weekend, which we have Smurfs and I Know What You Did Last Summer, which are both not tracking very big. So Twisters is kind of, the Superman Twisters comp is going to kind of be there like this week. So, and then you had, It Ends With Us, which did 150 million. You had an Alien movie, which did 105 million in August. So, in terms of that comp number about how we do a number, I'm like, we'll see how. Hopefully, Naked Gun's a huge hit. Hopefully, Weapons and Freakier Friday do very well. But the comps are coming up here. You can pitch me a story if we're asking where are we going to be at Labor Day weekend, right? End of summer. You could be
Mm,
down to like 10 or 11% up, and not the 15 we've been at. Because again, end of summer was very strong last year.
yeah. And
So
yeah, that I don't. I mean, what do you think about Fantastic Four? How is that looking right
I,
now?
you know, I used to. I mean, again, I'm not a Marvel guy. The tracking is doing very very well. They've been playing it. They're marketing it broad, Richard. They're going very much for family friendly. Yes, the kind of retro. vibe to the marketing. So I'm very curious. I personally still, I mean, we both know the previous two Fantastic Fours that were made that
Yeah.
I don't think anybody puts in the Hall of Fame. So the franchise is always a little shaky to me. So that's my only little like nagging back of my head thing. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean that's why I was a real skeptic about Fantastic Four, and this felt like rolling out another thing. But I have talked to some comic book friends.
Okay.
I have comic book acquaintances, shall we call them?
fair, fair,
I
fair enough, Richard. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't. They have this feeling like Fantastic Four has never been tried. It's like it's that we've been waiting all this time
That's
for
what Disney's hoping on. I'll tell you that right now.
someone to
Yeah.
do Fantastic Four right, and to get in front about them, they're excited about what they see of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Fans are excited. It's Matt Shackman who did WandaVision, like, from who's directing this. So clearly it's in good, creative hands. That's promising as well. So look, I'd love for it. I'd love for it to be this huge, massive, late July hit. It's just, again, we have collective just knowledge of this franchise of being, it's just been one of their worst, frankly, at Marvel.
if Superman keeps going strong, is that
Mm.
good or bad for Fantastic Four?
I mean, this is probably a little above my pay grade in terms of the fandoms of it.
Well,
You know,
so
I don't know.
within 2 weeks,
Yeah,
but even if it continues to have legs, most of the people who want to see Superman will have seen
I
Superman.
think so. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, something.
That'll be 3 weeks into
Yeah,
their run.
I would
So
say if anything, that may again the things we just mentioned about the legs of Superman, it may be detrimental to that happening where it doesn't have that leeway of that fandom, Richard, where they may supplant that of making Superman a 5-6 week hit. It may be more of a three and then off, sharp fall off there. That could be the collateral damage of Fantastic Four the other way to Superman.
yeah,
So,
or does
but
it put a little life back into the whole genre
it could be,
and take
it's
away the sort of another one of these feeling that
right.
has kind of weighed over them lately. So
Yeah, I will say it does feel again like you said, Superman felt a little fresh. This isn't just seem to be a cut and paste Marvel film, but does seem to exist in its own universe, if you will, and not just an add-on, same old look kind of thing. Which again has to feel different and must see. So it does have that the marketing does have that feel to me, but we'll find out.
yeah.
But we get Smurfs, and I know what you did last summer, which coming up this weekend. Not a lot of there's some horror people who are into this. I know what you did last summer, so this one could do better than I'm thinking personally. But I'm told
Uh,
there's some excitement.
I'll just make a case on Smurfs
Oh, it's first, yeah,
that and Paw Patrol movie ended up which also
did
skews
very
very
well. Yeah,
and that skews very young also like Smurfs. I mean
yeah.
that's not a young adult movie.
No, there's a yep.
Paw Patrol is
Take the young kids.
age
Yeah,
and under, and
yeah.
if you take your 10-year-old, they'll kill you.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but but Smurfs has a little similar life, and I can see it uh, grinding out some business there, and
Okay.
the families need a place to go in the summer.
They do. They do.
They
And
need
Lilo, you only need to Lilo so many times, So
and I think I can't break the embargo, but I have seen Smurfs, and as Smurfs projects go, it's done with some life and a plum to it. So
okay. Listen,
the
I'd love to see it come in and overperform. Then you have Bad Guys 2 coming in a few weeks as well, which again has that, probably
uh,
similar demo. But
Adam here asks,
mm.
buy a ticket for Smurfs and sneak into. I know what you did. Do the kids still do this? That's a
Well,
good question. Does reserved seating ruin your ability to sneak
mm,
into R-rated movies?
interesting. I mean, if you're in somebody else's seat, yes. If someone doesn't come in, then oh, I'm sorry, I'll move down. But you could probably get away with that easy enough. They're not going to check your. There's no more ushers in theaters. Like who's checking your
No,
ticket?
there's no.
Uh,
Yeah, there's no one at the door
there's
of the.
one person who and then you have carte blanche. Uh, But
Yeah,
yeah, listen, if the kids were going to two movies in one day, Richard, do you imagine that? Like, they don't much less go to one, they're going to two. Like,
yeah,
hey, we'd be back in business, Richard, spending the day at the multiplex. Wow, imagine that.
exactly. Um, maybe there'll be a secret. I know what you did, and what does this do to the what was the narrative Gen Y horror revival? Isn't that what we were talking
Oh
about a
no,
few weeks ago? With
the
the
molecular center, the 20-year-old, yes, horror revival. Which this isn't. This is we're talking.
I guess it came from Lilo. It was like we wanted
What was from Final Destination, which was big and came back, and I know what
yeah.
you did last summer. Yeah, kind of, and Scream certainly fell into this, a little
This is
last year. So yeah,
this is why box office trend stories are the graveyard of journalistic reputations. Uh, Trying to
yeah,
find two
get that,
things that are kind of
yeah,
alike and
squeeze it in there.
mash them together and make a story out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but if this one hits, there's something to it. So again, what else can we dig up out of the old? Came out from say 97 to 2005 that we can, which was a huge. That was the horror, revival that we had. That I grew up with, certainly with
Yeah.
with Scream kicking that off. So
Alex writes, I felt good about the future of cinema when there was a large group of teens at my screening of the Phoenician Scheme.
okay,
Um, yeah, I tell you, there's something brewing out there. And
I agree with you. I agree with you.
if you go on Letterboxd, like there is a lot of social energy around like young people that want like that have become like film snobs
Film buffs.
online.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know that equals like Jurassic World numbers, but there's something building
Mm,
in lots of different ways, and
yeah.
I just hope the indie world will step up and harness that. So,
Yeah, and create more products that again, movies that you and I both embraced when we were that age at that time, and that spoke to us, and we're not not just themes of 6-year-old filmmakers going out one of the the other generation. So I hope and that's we're seeing a lot of things in the pipeline. I think if you look at just the A24 slate is off the chart in terms of how much they've been buying. And it's a lot of the getting younger filmmakers, younger new talent. So I think next year I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that that continues, but it's that's good to hear because I've seen a bit of that as well, and you've seen anecdotally about that. So certainly, hopefully that continues. Hopefully that continues. But
yeah.
all right, I think that's where we stand, Richard.
All right,
Congratulations, Superman is on your top 3 list for the summer, so it's a
that's
good
right.
start.
My prediction's looking pretty good right now.
Pretty good, pretty
My
solid.
slate at the award ceremony in 6 weeks
You
now.
you yeah, you made a big bet on this one a long time ago. You put your foot down when we did. I remember earlier this year you were saying this is going to work. So yeah,
Well, let's see let's see what Weekend Two does. This
yeah,
is the big question here.
yeah. So
Uh,
we'll be back next Monday. Thanks as always for the comments, everybody. We really appreciate it. It's a fun dialogue. Thanks for hanging here, Richard. A
yeah,
pleasure to see you as well.
great to see you. We'll see you all next week. Take
All
care.
right, everybody. Take care.
Bye.